Sats, Margs, and Orange Pill. We are microdosing SCHIFF for brains. That's what we're doing here today.
Yeah, SCHIFF for brains. It's finally come out. It's finally happened. As I predicted, really 2 years ago, I said at 50,000 per Bitcoin, Peter Schiff was going to start to soften up a bit. He came out a day or so ago saying that, after Bitcoin had gone up to 50,000 per coin, he was saying, oh, you know what, it might go to 100,000. So this is the beginning of capitulation. But I don't think he's going to truly capitulate probably until it gets to 250 or 300,000.
Well, yeah, and it's beyond that because you know what? I've also have had in the past SCHIFF for brains. Nouriel Rubini has SCHIFF for brains because SCHIFF for brains is not just referring to Peter Schiff. He inspired this term. He's like, Xerox, right? People Xerox is making a copy of this. Like this is a Xerox copy. We used to call it. So I think nowadays they kind of call it. They don't use Xerox anymore. But Nouriel Rubini compares the Bitcoin surge to tulip mania and adds, at least tulips had some utility.
Right. This is FUD, or fear, uncertainty, and doubt, from maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And he's just catching up to 5 years ago, in terms of the FUD. And yeah, he's got SCHIFF for brains for sure. And he's got a potty mouth too,
Yeah.
he likes to use scatological terms when he's talking to folks, and he curses a lot.
Those are nice sometimes. They work well.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm no one to complain against using scatological terms. I mean, but coming out of his mouth though, it looks like a rhinoceros fart.
Yeah.
He's got that face like the ass of a rhinoceros, and when he talks, it looks like a rhinoceros defecating. And what he says has the same value as rhinoceros feces. So I mean, put that all together, and you end up with this SCHIFF for brains, who is, there's just a whole bunch of these guys now that are basically brain damaged. They're like, you have to wonder what happened.
You have to wonder what happened, but when you're using those scatological terms, you've got to have like whatever that thing is on Max's head. Like you've got to be able to deliver it with comedy and humor, right? Like if you're all bitter and angry and a bitter no coiner and just filled with rage, and you could see all the hatred and the self-loathing in Nouriel Rubini's face, like then you have SCHIFF for brains, right? Like you could tell like he regrets everything about his life.
He made bad life choices.
Yeah. We've all made bad life choices, but the thing is to try to learn how to make something more positive or better out of it, like how to make the good that comes out of your mistakes, like the lessons you learned, like how to make it better than the disaster you cause on the other hand.
No, how about Dave Portnoy over there at Barstool Sports?
Portnoy, yeah.
He's got SCHIFF for brains now. The thing, the Winklevi showed up at his office. They got him into Bitcoin at around 20,000, and then it sold off maybe 2 or 3%, and he sold it real quick, and he took a loss. And they also got him to some shit coins, and that's what the problem with shit coins is, that it leads to all kinds of mental disorders. And now he's looking at 50,000, and he's like, I can't believe it, and I'm never gonna buy it, as if his will somehow stop this move to $200,000, $300,000. He's got SCHIFF for brains. Krugman, Nouriel, Peter of SCHIFF, of course.
Christine Lagarde, Christine Lagarde.
Speaking of Christine Lagarde, so I'm wearing my hat in commemoration of the sans-culottes.
What's that?
The sans-culottes were the common people of the lower classes, really in the late 18th century France, who became radical and militant partisans of the French Revolution. Mm-hmm. And so these were the deplorables of the Revolution of France. They were called sans-culottes because the term refers to their clothing, and though that their lower class status, culottes were the fashionable silk knee breeches of the 18th century nobility and bourgeois, and the working class sans-culottes were pantaloons or trousers. Instead, the sans-culottes, most of them urban laborers, served as the driving popular force behind the revolution. And they wore hats like this. If you look at a photo of a sans-culotte, they have hats similar to this. So I'm wearing this in my nod to the sans culotte of the revolution.
I just looked at
La
us on
France.
YouTube, and I noticed that we look insane. Like we genuinely
Because we've been in Bitcoin now for 10 years, and this is what happens over time. This is what Rubini is resisting. This is what Schiff is resisting. This is what Dave Portnoy are resisting. They're not willing to let go. They're not willing to let themselves be who they truly are.
get your freak on.
Bitcoin is the truth elixir.
Mm-hmm.
It is the litmus test. It is the Rorschach test. It is who you are to you and others to be. That is of you to, and they don't want to be that way. They want to pretend to be somebody who they are not. Schiff wants to pretend to be this world-class economist and money manager, even though that's patently false. Rubini wants to be this pussy hound hanging out at the disco and going after whatever he can find, but he's not. Dave Portnoy thinks he's a business genius, but he's not. You need to get right with Satoshi to be who you really are.
Smash that like button, people. This episode is brought to you by swanbitcoin.com,
right.
And we're going to smash buy again. Like you guys talked me into, remember yesterday, I said, oh, should I do a $500 or a $1,000 smash buy? You talked me into doing 1,000. That was a good choice because, of course, we keep on hitting new all-time highs today. How many people out there are super tired like myself? I'm delirious with already on lack of sleep, but now I've decided yesterday I didn't have a margarita, and I thought, well, if today I've had 2 nights now with so much adrenaline pumping through me, pump it up, pump it up.
You've got to pump it up.
I've got to pump it up, and I was so just filled with energy and couldn't sleep, and that's kind of why my hair is so
gorgeous,
freaky today. Like, what the hell is going on, right?
Like bedhead.
This is beyond bedhead. Like, what do you call beyond bedhead, right? Anyway, so I figured, well, if maybe the margarita will calm me down a bit or something, bring it's kind of a depressant, right? Alcohol. So maybe if I bring down some of all this energy, and realizing that I have shift for brains, because that's the point. Is
it's like a poor person speedball.
Or the same thing as a Bitcoiner, right? Because you don't want to spend any money, right?
Yeah, so exactly. It's a Bitcoiner speedball. Staying up all night watching Bitcoin price and drowning your adrenaline in margaritas.
Yeah, the adrenaline is a natural cocaine.
See, had there been Bitcoin around the time of John Belushi, he'd still be alive today.
That's what we've discovered today. That's what we've uncovered right here live on the Microdosing Shift.
Look what I got.
Yeah, well, tell people, start putting those on, and then by the time I finish this next story, then you could tell people, explain what those little finger symbols are. And
this is the unboxing.
This is the unboxing. Max likes buying these little tricks and toys and fun props.
Well, I've often wanted. There it is. I got this from Amazon for $4.
Sent from China, probably.
And I always wanted finger symbols. I don't know why. It's probably
that's very you look like some sort of from 3,000 years ago traveling through the Middle East, and you show up at Fez and say, does anybody want to buy my finger symbols?
Yeah, no, this is really ancient technology, Bitcoin technology. When I used to watch those airline ads for Thai Air or whatever, they always had some chick in a sarong with finger symbols. They looked like they're having so much fun.
How's our audio and stuff? Are you hearing us okay? Everybody always has a different answer because, like we said, man is the measure of all things, right? So some people are going to say, oh my God, your audio is perfect. And the other people are going to say, no, your audio is too low. And then somebody else says, your audio is too high. Because man is a measure of all things. And of course, everybody has a different computer, and some people's computers have good sound systems like that over there. That's our brand new Mac, and it has a great audio. This old Mac that I'm looking at down here, I'm looking at your comments. Well, that's pretty shitty. When I listen to audio on that now compared to the new one, I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong with the audio here? Oh yeah, that must be something that we have to do. That's memeable, right? Because
maybe
you can join with the cat.
Oh yeah.
The cat meme, the Turkish guy playing the Finnish song.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see. You need to have them on both hands. You know, you
Do
just
you
can't.
need help there or what?
I think I've got it. You know, more or less.
I think it's probably designed for women, right? Not that you can't be a woman if you want to be.
You know, I think women have fingers too. You
Yeah, but
know.
our fingers are smaller.
Oh, right. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I thought maybe you were suggesting that women are fingerless. Let's see. They don't sound very symbol-like. You know, it's kind of a
They sound symbol-like to me. I don't know what's...
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Let's do the cat. Where's the cat music? How do I look it up?
Come, chameleon. La da 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 da. I did 5 months community service, pushing a broom. I am Boy George.
Maybe somebody could post that video in the Orange Pill Podcast Telegram group. Guess what? You know what? Speaking of Orange Pill, we will be doing our full dose, of course, on Sunday. And this week we have Adam, Bitcoin Denver, and we're going to talk about mining, and in particular, mining using, stranded energy. And
Stranded energy.
But guess who's coming back as one of our sponsors? Of course, we have swanbitcoin.com/orangepill. But we also have the Sun Exchange coming back. You know, everybody loves Aiden Cambridge, and we're going to do some of his videos and stuff like that.
All right.
So we're happy to have them back for 2021. And so in the meantime, you know, this SCHIFF for brains, like I was telling you that I have SCHIFF for brains as well. Like I don't deny that I've had SCHIFF for brains. I've made bad decisions as well and stuck with them for too long. Like as I told Daniela Camboni recently, like, I do have gold and silver, and you could say that also means I have SCHIFF for brains because I could have had Bitcoin instead. But at least we use it for entertainment value, just like these finger symbols.
Yeah.
Like this is these are the tools, the instruments of a
Try making finger symbols out of a Bitcoin.
Exactly. You know, my head looks so huge because my hair is like, what is going on? Anyway, I want to show you like what SCHIFF for brains does for you, right? And it costs real, not just money. So you like, okay, you don't want to concern yourself too much with actual money, but what you're saying is that money represents time. So this is time theft that has happened. Bitcoin is eating gold in one chart. The gold Bitcoin ratio hits fresh all-time low. And look at that. Look how much money just in that chart.
Yeah.
That you've lost since just in the past year.
Well, how much time you lost?
Time. That's called time theft. If you have SCHIFF for brains, be prepared to lose time.
Yeah, think of all the times Peter Schiff spends on Twitter pushing his outdated, bogus narratives. And while everyone around him now for the last 10 years, because remember I told him to buy it 10 years ago at $10, as he admitted recently. Everyone he has talked to now has become fabulously wealthy. And while his wealth has remained completely stagnant for 10 years, he hasn't made a penny more.
Yeah.
And everyone around him has just become fabulously wealthy, all around him. And that's going to continue because he's got SCHIFF for brains.
Yeah. And I mean, it's fine for him because according to his, the filings, the disclosure reports for when he ran for Senate, he's worth like $60 million. So he's fine because, he's the guy managing your money, taking 2 and 20, no matter what. His clients, whether or not, they're definitely down, whether either down or down relative to Bitcoin. The lost opportunity could never be got back.
No, priced in Bitcoin, every single one of his clients is down more than 99%. I can say that with a guarantee. There's none of his clients priced in Bitcoin because Bitcoin is up 9 million %. So therefore, every single one is down in Bitcoin terms 99% or more.
I'm posting this. People are already posting memes.
Really?
I just find it amazing. I love Bitcoin so much. I love the Bitcoin community. Like, I mean, Max and I, when we had SCHIFF for brains, I mean, we could be excused because this was before Bitcoin, but we were in the gold community, and we
Yeah.
never had fun like this in the gold bug community because, as Paul Tudor Jones identified, like the gold bug community is a bet on an apocalyptic outcome, and
Right.
where it's every man for himself. You know, obviously, when the fiat dark ages disappears, it's going to be chaotic for quite a lot of people. But we'll always have Orange Pill Podcast Telegram group. We'll always have each other. Like Bitcoin will at least always have memes, and like we've been this way through all the 90% crashes. We've always laughed with each other. We've always had gallows humor. We've always been there for the lulls. So you know, we happen to get rich along the way as well.
Right. I mean, we've been through 90% crashes in Bitcoin going back to 2011, and the memes have always gotten people through the crashes, you know, and the memes are there at the highs, right? The memes have always been there because Bitcoin came of age during a period of memes. It came of age during the period of 4chan, Pepe the Frog, and so that was really ported over to the Bitcoin community. And you know, you got Elon Musk is definitely driven by memes in a huge way. So it's a big part of the economy is now driven by memes.
But
And
also that you know, the mental attitude. We have not only the low time preference versus the high time preference of the fiat dark ages, but think about those memes. So you mentioned Pepe the Frog, and look how like vicious and real and angry so much of American political Twitter gets about Pepe. Like if you use Pepe, they're like, you're an alt-right, you're a white supremacist, and you're like, no, it's a frog, right? Like it's a cartoon. How can a cartoon be anything? Like the cartoon existed before some kids living in their mom's basement or some giant pimply faced 50-year-old living in their dad's basement, you know, that they're the ones that did this.
yeah, the Pepe the Frog was an amazing story because you know, it fooled Hillary Clinton, you know, and that was one of the reasons she lost in 2016 is that she became possessed by this Pepe the Frog
Possessed
meme.
by Pepe.
Yeah, and just totally lost control of her
Bowels.
her motor skills, right? She couldn't even walk straight. She just had to like carry her around because Pepe the Frog had clouded her mind.
Wow. That's what caused her to fall at the 9/11 thing?
Yeah. She had just her motor skills were shot because her mind had been clouded by Pepe the Frog memes. So then you apply that idea to money. So now money itself is clouding people's minds. And
yeah.
And in the case of SCHIFF for Brains, Rubini, Dave Portnoy, you know, it exposes that they not only have weak hands, but they have weak minds. Their minds are not, they're strong enough to hold the idea of Bitcoin in your mind. You know, it takes, you know, also people are lazy. Like I think the other public intellectual that recently came out as SCHIFF for Brains is Nassim Taleb. I think because it's difficult to, he's a guy who loves taking intellectual shortcuts. You know, he likes to come up with pithy little phrases like anti-fragile or the black swan. And then those are kind of meme-like in itself, or aphorisms, right? Or some other word to describe a short, pithy statement that sounds right. And so with Bitcoin, it's impossible to consume the knowledge base of Bitcoin in as quickly as most of these public intellectuals have become very lazy in doing over the years. And so they reject it as being not worth their time. And then it skyrockets in value, and their worth relative to Bitcoin crashes. And then they have self-loathing. And then that starts to get ugly. Like Rubini is going through self-loathing now, where he's publicly flagellating himself, where he goes on into these public venues and he gets the whip and he's whipping himself and like, I'm an idiot, I'm an idiot, I'm an idiot. Shame, shame, shame.
Well, I say shame, 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 idiot. And all you people out there watching this live, there's almost 1,000 people and only 241 likes so far. Because remember, if you don't hit the like, if you don't smash that like, the reason why I say that is because then YouTube, what they do is they push Nouriel Rubini. They push all the people with the SCHIFF for Brains, because most people have SCHIFF for Brains and they want to hear SCHIFF for Brainers, right? They want to hear SCHIFFers. And so they, you know, they're tuning in and saying, Oh, thank you, Noriel, for telling me all this horrible stuff about Bitcoin. It makes me feel better about owning no Bitcoin. So, you have to fight the shift for brains by hitting the like
Yeah,
button.
they want their bias reinforced. It's
Oh, Max is
bias
taking
reinforcement.
those out again. Max is
I'm
taking
taking it out again.
he's whipping it out.
I'm whipping it out again.
And ICO offender, he's in our Telegram group, and he sent us the video for the cat video to play the music along with this. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna play it for you. Get vibing with the cat. Okay, video begins in 6 seconds, 5 seconds, and then I'll turn it up. Pump it up. I just want to put this on a loop and just have it play all day long.
Yeah.
That Turkish guy is like into it. That's like actually bring your mic over again. But I'm going to silence this. Sorry, I know. But that's freaking like my experience that I've been in Turkey is you go around and like these guys are playing the most amazing music. I remember being down in like Kalkan, and there was a guy, an old dude in this carpet shop just sitting there. He was like, he must have been in his late 90s, and he started singing this folk song that I actually literally cried. Like, he was so amazing. You just couldn't believe how like this well of emotion that from our common humanity, like he was speaking to me, though he spoke no English. It was just, I bought his carpet,
Buy my carpet.
He sold me. He sold me.
Buy my carpet. Well, it's all about the drums, all about the beats. They got the funky beats, man. They got the funky beats, and that beat, it all comes down. It all coalesces. It all kind of distills through the millennia into the one.
It sounds much better than the original Finnish version. This guy, he has more drum to it. Like, it's just
it's funky.
It's funkier,
right? So I'm saying that's the one. Get on the one. That's the funk is the highest musical achievement of humanity. And of course it was invented by James Brown. That's
true. Keep on smashing that like. You know what? How's the audio? I did ask you earlier, but I didn't look for your answers. So if you answered...
That sounds like a woman.
So I'm asking you again, if you feel like you have the energy to say whether it's okay or not, let me know. But right now...
And I won't be looked at again.
Look, I'm going to go look now.
Answer some more. It still won't be looked at.
I'm going to look now. I'm going to look.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking now. It's fine. Audio is good. Audio is good.
Audio is good.
Wait, where's the one? We have to have somebody that complains. Sounds good. Somebody has to complain.
Where's the complainer?
There's always...
You're complaining about there being no complaints.
Audio is good, and I'm not a cat. Audio needs compression.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Buddy.
There's
now
the
you've thrown down the gauntlet, huh?
There's always
one
incel out in the audience.
Well, it's come to this, has it? Mm-hmm.
Right. So, as I said at the top.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Nouriel Roubini is SCHIFF for Brains, and he said that at least tulips had some utility.
Right.
So now think about that, because look at what happened with Nigeria today. So the Nigerian government banned Bitcoin. But as Nick Carter says, countries don't ban Bitcoin. They only ban themselves from the Bitcoin network. And so that's what Nigeria did for its citizens. It banned them from using Bitcoin, or at least companies or individuals using their bank accounts in any way to access Bitcoin. Obviously, they can't stop anybody with a Trezor or connection to an internet from accessing Bitcoin. Nevertheless, What happened here? We see that in Nigeria, there's a huge premium. And it's something. Well, you do the
They're
math.
trading at 74,000 per Bitcoin now.
Yeah, $74,000. So it's something like 30% premium in Nigeria because of this government action. So that's showing you that, Norio Brini's Shift for Brains, he that's the thing about, that's the beauty of being in an ivory tower. You could just ignore all the evidence all around you, around
Right.
the
You
world.
never get penalized for being wrong when you're an academic.
Exactly.
Unlike a money manager like Paul Tudor Jones or a CEO like Michael Saylor, you do get penalized if you're wrong. Your stock price goes down, your performance goes down. But intellectuals can just be wrong for their entire careers and never get penalized. But the thing about it, though, let me dig into this a little bit on the subject of economics itself. He says it has no utility value or has a little bit utility value, or talking about tulips. And here's the thing about economics, history, money, Bitcoin, and gold and Peter Schiff. The thing that makes Bitcoin perfect money is that it has zero utility value.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what does this mean? Utility value would interfere with price discovery in the marketplace as people subjectively use their Bitcoin. Money, the value, is derived subjectively. It is what people decide that it is. And people over thousands of years decided that gold was perfect money or great money. And the utility value of gold actually is quite little. Very, very less than 5% of gold is used in anything else other than a store of value. Yes, there are some applications in the electronics business, but the fact that it does have that utility attached to it is why price is not going up, because the fact that it has some utility attached to it is interfering with price discovery as perfect money. And because Bitcoin has absolutely no utility value whatsoever, it's more perfect money because there's nothing interfering with the market in terms of giving it the subjective value as determined by those using it in the market. So Rubini, he's attaching utility value to money, and that's wrong. That's just academically, intellectually, that's just completely a moronic thing to say, and it shows his hand as being a moron and not knowing really anything about money, the history of money, or economics. He
Shift
knows
for
the
Brains.
party line. He might know Keynesian economics or whatever school he follows, but he doesn't really understand what's going on here and doesn't understand money. Silver, by the way, is even worse because it has more utility value than gold. And that's why it's having even more problems than gold has, because people use it in solar, they use it in electronics and these other applications. So that's why a lot of times silver is valued like copper, right? And they say,
Well, and that jumping in there on copper, because obviously copper is hitting all-time highs. So because of that, silver could actually outperform
as an
gold.
industrial metal.
Despite all this money printing, it could be silver that outperforms gold, just like commodities like pork and
Right.
copper
But
and things
many
like that.
times silver is seen as a commodity metal.
Yeah.
And it's priced like copper or aluminum or iron.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's viewed as a precious metal. So it gets a little buzz from gold, platinum, iridium, or et cetera. But the fact is that Bitcoin, because it has no utility at all, price discovery is pure. And the market is saying we prefer it to gold for that very reason. It has zero utility value. And that's why it's eating gold. That's why it's moving up beyond gold. That's why it's becoming as equal in market cap to gold. That's why it will achieve a $10 trillion market cap of gold and then exceed the market cap of gold. It will literally be vault past gold in market cap because it's a more pure form of money as determined by the market of individuals who use it as a store of value and a medium of exchange in the way that they want to. They have the freedom. You have the freedom to use Bitcoin as a medium of exchange or a store of value. It's unconfiscatable and nobody can interfere, no government. Therefore, the price reflects the will of 7 billion people to transact with each other peacefully. What's that worth if you monetize that? It's worth a hell of a lot more than $51,000 per Bitcoin. It's worth, and it's going to eclipse gold, and it's going after the total addressable market for Bitcoin is $300 trillion. So it's potentially a 300x from here because that's everything gets priced in Bitcoin, and it becomes a unit of account globally, and it's used instantaneously by everyone constantly. So Rubini, just on the academics, he's completely wrong. number one. And number two, it just gets worse and worse from there. But also, Schiff for Brains makes the same argument that Bitcoin has no utility value. That's showing his hand that he's a moron. He doesn't understand. What comes out of his mouth is just utter stupidity. I would imagine Krugman and these other people, they cling to the idea of because they feel they can control that side of the debate. Like, what is the utility? Therefore, we're going to define utility. They don't understand you just need to get rid of the utility value and have it just operate as perfect money.
Well, bizarrely, SCHIFF for Brains, Peter Schiff, the originator of the term SCHIFF for Brains, the one who is so stupid that he, has defined a whole new genre of people, of dumb investors, is that, gold bugs, prior to Bitcoin, as I said, and go smash that like button. I'm going to wait until we hit 800 likes before we smash buy together and levitate the Fed. Right. But gold bugs, remember what gold bugs always got from no coiners of the gold world, right? Before Bitcoin, what was the complaint? Always, 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 that you always had in the comments, anytime we had a gold bug on, people would say, morons, fiat lovers would say, you can't eat gold. And you're like, that, like, those are people with shifter brains, right? Like, right. What a dumb argument. The equivalent now is like, Bitcoin has no utility value. It's like, right. Yeah, and you can't eat gold. Like, of course, like, right. Why would you want to eat your money, right?
Right. Well, I mean, it's used as a store of value and a medium of exchange, and it therefore, since the economy is priced in that unit, it would include food, right? So you can, if you have an ounce of gold in anywhere in the world, you can exchange it for a loaf of bread, at the minimum, right? So you don't eat the gold. It's the unit of exchange. It's the medium of exchange. So with Bitcoin, it's not that you can't eat the Bitcoin, or it's not that it has no utility value. It's that the bread's cost is going to forevermore continue to go down because your purchasing power is going to go up for 100 years. It's just going to keep, purchasing power will just keep going up.
We're all going to try to eat some Bitcoin together once the number of likes hits 800. It's something like 530 now. But yeah, even Morgan Stanley. Okay. Like, I mean, you mentioned that an academic could be wrong and keep on climbing up the ivory tower ladder. But investors, asset managers are not supposed to be able to be wrong. Their investors punish them. And here we have Peter Schiff, who continues to lose money for his clients and continues to tell them the wrong story for the past 10 years. Like, he goes on CNBC and says, no, Max didn't tell me at $2. He told me at 10. And so his clients must be looking at that and saying, wait, we could have got in at 10. We could have got in at 100. We could have got in at 1,000. We could have got in at 10,000. We could have got in at 20,000, 40,000, 50,000. And what? You keep on, you kept us out? Okay. So he failed to get that for his clients. Now you see Morgan Stanley in their report that they just came out with talking about Bitcoin. They said that Bitcoin is becoming a store, that it's not becoming, but it is, they said, a store of value. And like gold, this is the Morgan Stanley words, that they said Bitcoin is a store of value like gold, especially for their millennial clients, that this is, all value is subjective. And that's what Peter Schiff says he believes. He says he's an Austrian economics, believer, that he says he believes in what Carl Menger said. And Carl Menger said, all value is subjective. These millennials say they see value in Bitcoin. So, but here he is as a money manager saying, no, all you millions and millions and millions of people are wrong, which is like, that's not a free market person, right? Because the market is saying that they believe it's Bitcoin. Right. And then Morgan Stanley, importantly, because this is like a bank that's part of the whole Federal Reserve System, they said that Bitcoin is also now becoming a medium of exchange, a unit of account, replacing the US dollar, they said.
Right. I think what the problem is, the good point about Schiff is that doesn't respect the market, right? He's supposed to be a guy who follows the market and respects the market, and he's a quote libertarian, and he's not a statist, he says. However, the market's giving him a signal and he's ignoring it. So you have to ask yourself, does he really know anything about the market, or how to hear the market, or know much about markets? And so that's number one. Number two, is that the problem I think a lot of these libertarians have is that they're followers of Mises. And Mises came up with this regression
Oh
theorem,
yeah.
which was counter to really Carl Menga. And the regression theorem suggests that money has to have, you have to go back in the history of it to find when it had an original utility value. And now that's been proven incorrect. I mean, I proved that wrong in 1996 with the creation of the virtual currency that I invented, with the patent that I have.
What's your patent number?
5950176. So it kind of disproved the regression theorem back in 1996 because people were treating the currency that I invented, the Hollywood dollar, as part of the Hollywood Stock Exchange, as money, even though it had no utility value. It had no original utility value. It was invented out of digits. It was virtual money. So it disproved it then. Now with Bitcoin, it just takes it to that next level. It's distributed digital scarcity, encrypted, right? So it does, and there's no utility value. And the Mises regression theorem is bunk. That's what. Sorry, but it's been disproven. So you cling to it. It's like Copernicus was saying, no, the sun's at the center of the solar system, but a lot of priests in the Catholic Church will refuse to accept it. Peter Schiff has been your belief system has been shattered, but you're not willing to. Anyone who's in the money management business, they know that when the facts change, you have to change. You can't just remain stubborn in your disbeliefs because every single one of your clients now is down, priced in Bitcoin, down at least 99%. That is a hard, cold fact. That's the fact. Now, how do you survive that?
So SCHIFF is down. If you have SCHIFF for Brains as an asset manager, you're down for 10 years because you refuse to look at it. Now, look at Stan Druckenmiller, who we talked about. He was recently interviewed by Goldman Sachs sort of forum, and he said, he does own Bitcoin, that it went a little bit overboard. Okay, we Bitcoiners go a little bit overboard, shouting and yeah. That was the other Turkish sort of video where all these guys are dancing.
Oh, that's a good one.
Every time somebody like Stan Druckenmiller says, "I have some Bitcoin," we're like, yeah. Whoa, Stan. Well, he's saying, he has some Bitcoin. He said he still doesn't understand what the heck it is, but he's got to own it because he sees the momentum behind it, so he's going to get into it. So Peter Schiff is sitting there saying, I see the market telling me that this is it 10 years in a row. And I'm going to keep on saying, I keep insisting, no way. I am born with SCHIFF for Brains and I'm going to maintain this, this dumbness.
Yeah. It's hard to believe. I mean, a lot of people come up with this thing where he owns a lot of Bitcoin and this is all an act.
No.
But of course that would be violating some major securities laws because he would be, that would be an example of misrepresentation if to his clients and to what was going on. You can't as a professional FinCEN regulated financial person, you wouldn't be able to engage in that kind of deception. So that's not true. It's just clearly not true. But it's hard to imagine what he thinks the end game is here. That the market's been proving him wrong for 10 years straight, and he still doesn't hear what the market's saying yet. And it's only getting worse on a daily basis. The other thing is people say, "Oh, I'm disrespectful to Peter Schiff, because I'm always calling him out for being SCHIFF for Brains." But he has a way to. If that's the case, if he feels like there's people are being disrespectful, he should just stop talking about it.
He should stop talking about it.
As long as he talks about it, then let the games continue.
Right. So as soon as we hit 800, we have 620 thumbs up. My hair is getting bigger and bigger as we go along. What if it fills this whole screen? People notice that my hair is getting shorter. And the thing is, why that's happening is since the beginning of lockdown a year ago, is I've been cutting my own hair. And then I end up noticing that oh shit, it's lopsided. So I have to cut the other side. And then I lopsided again in the other direction. So I have to cut it on the other side.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That Michael Jackson had that problem with facial surgery. And you see what happened to him.
Yeah.
It's oh no, this is a little lopsided. I got to do another cut here, another cut there. Pretty soon he's Skeletor man.
So I have the hair, Stacy Herbert's hair is the Michael Jackson of noses.
Under the original
Something.
lockdown, you had me coloring your hair. I was in there with the
Yeah.
brush and the
Yeah.
tinfoil, and we were in the bathroom, and with the mirror, and I was checking it out. It was like a nice moment of marriage, marital moment.
Do you want to do that
What
more often?
happened? But I haven't had that in months now.
So
How have you been doing?
because I've developed well, I don't know what it looks like in the back anymore, but so I might look okay from front, but maybe people, if they could see me from behind, they might think, "Oh my God, what the heck has happened to that woman? She's like met some sort of, was maybe in a car accident or something and had some brain surgery back there."
Well,
But
I noticed that the chemicals used for the coloring were pretty caustic. And
yeah,
I can't imagine, people inhaling that stuff for a lifetime. It would cause some brain damage, I would think.
yeah. Well, there's surveys that show that the the career with the highest level of happiness is hairdressers.
Oh, because of they get them high. They get high on the fumes.
It could be all the brain damage.
They're inhaling all of those propellants and the hairspray.
Well, think about it. You see results all day long, right? Say you cut 10, 15, 20 people's hair.
Yeah.
They come in with the wreck, like my hair is dry, there's all sorts of damage, and here, help me, I look horrible. And you fix it. You give them some highlights, you cut their hair, it looks all great, you blow dry it, you get a head massage, and
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh my God, I love you so much. Thank you."
They get a lot of love.
Yeah, they get a lot of love.
It's the opposite of a dentist.
Dentist is the one with the lowest rate of
Right.
happiness.
And they're both, next to each other. The hair is right near the mouth. But it's a world of difference between a dentist and a hairdresser.
Think of
tell you that.
But that is quite interesting. Like people go in, well, people definitely leave the hairdressers like so happy and smiling and feeling relief. Whereas they go in, as soon as you see the dentist, you're like, "Oh, are you going to hurt me? What's going on?"
Totally. It's like a dog going to the veterinarian.
Yeah.
That dentist should have open part dentist, part hair salon.
That
right?
would balance
They
it
can
out.
flip it out. Like they'll do tooth extraction and then move on to doing a feather cut. Right?
This is the thing, because we were talking about Aristotle and to go research Aristotle and happiness, and what happiness like meant to Aristotle back in the day was a balance like that.
Yeah, exactly. Root canals and hair coloring is the perfect balance. It's all in this area here, and I think that would be a way to kind of even out the experience for both the hairdressers and the dentists.
We do your root canal and your roots.
Roots and root canals. Okay, let's take that public for $1 billion or $5 billion.
Let's do it. Who's in with us? Yeah. I know, Jen, the bartender, she could be there serving cocktails.
Yeah, Jen's a good cocktail person.
Yeah, because you have to be drunk while you're getting a root canal.
Oh, hell yeah, that's the old. But now last year, it was hello.
What happened? Did you forget?
Sorry, no.
Are we here? Are we live? Hello.
Oh, did you make it go live?
Hello, can you hear me?
How many likes do we have?
Oh yeah. Okay, 706. Once we get to 800 likes, we're going to smash by together, levitate the Fed, turn it orange. It'll start vibrating, and the war will begin. Because remember, back in the 60s, when they tried to levitate the Pentagon, their ambition was to make it turn orange. It was going to vibrate, and it'd end the war. But we're trying to start a war. We're trying to start the
new
hash
high
war.
on Bitcoin.
Oh, another new high? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So,
Jesus.
Well, of course, the thing I've started to do is, smash by new all-time highs.
Yeah,
because it makes you a real Bitcoiner, right? Like this is the Bitcoiner way. And when I was saying earlier that I have SCHIFF for brains, it's like, this is the thing about the community and new entrants into it, whether they're totally brand new or whether they're owning just like $100 in fiat dollars worth, or $100 million or a couple $1 billion worth, is like, Michael Saylor is really, really new. He's a newbie to Bitcoin.
Newbie.
Only come in July. But like his thinking of like, hey, here, I'm going to buy tens of thousands of Bitcoin. And then him saying like, I can't sleep at night because I don't think I have enough. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I was like coasting along thinking like I'm fine. And I'm like, what the fuck now? Like, I need more Bitcoin. I need more. I need
Yeah.
more. Where's my sat? So,
Yeah,
you
hell
know.
yeah. Yeah, things that go high tend to make new highs. Things that go low tend to make new lows. Silver, just because it's at a low price doesn't make it cheap. Just because some of these shit coins are at a low price doesn't make them inexpensive. They can be very expensive because something that's down 80 or 90% can go down another 80 or 90%. Something that goes up 100%, 200% can go up another 200%. There's no correlation between those two. And who was the first to recognize that and codify that and write about it was Jesse Livermore in Confessions of a Stock Market Operator. He wrote really the basic laws of speculation, which didn't really come into play until 1971 when everything went off the gold standard and you had only speculation. That's when the economy of the world became pure speculation in 1971 because nothing was based on a fundamental value at that point. So Jesse Livermore's book, Confessions of a Stock Operator, Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, excuse me. And basically, I think there's 20 or 21 laws that he came up with for the speculator. And he was incredibly successful. He's richer than J.P. Morgan himself at one point. But that was one of them. Things he also liked to buy on the high because things that are going up go up.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. Like, I mean, I remember when I first met you back in 2003, and I remember you talking about Wall Street. You talked about, Mike Milken and Jimmy Goldsmith and all of those, the junk bond king and all that sort of stuff. But you also talked about Paul Tudor Jones, and then you also mentioned Jesse Livermore. And I remember some of those conversations because, of course, even now, all these years later of knowing about it, it's genuinely fighting human nature because you want to grab your profits, like sell the stuff that you're up 100% on, right?
And keep your losers.
And keep your losers because you want to make up those losses.
Right. That's human nature, and that's the absolute opposite of how you make money as a speculator.
And I have I have SCHIFF for brains too. We all have SCHIFF for brains. And I just look at it and I'm like,
right. Oh, so SCHIFF is holding on to his losses.
Yes.
And he's not getting on the board with any of the winners because he's not a good speculator. He's not a good investor. And he's actually one of the worst money managers of the past 50 years. And I say that not in a glib way. I say this by statistically, it can be proven.
We need to all send him the Reminiscences of a Stock Operator.
I think even Bernie Madoff probably had a better track record managing money than Peter Schiff, which is really saying something.
Yeah, because Bernie Madoff's investors got most of their money back.
Yeah.
So I don't think.
And it was before Bitcoin, so we can't really price Bernie Madoff's performance in Bitcoin, but we can price Peter Schiff's performance in Bitcoin.
Oh my God, it hit 52.
His performance is down 99%.
Okay, we're gonna smash by. We're gonna smash by.
We got the finger symbols because we're at 52,000.
Yeah, we're 52,000. Everybody wants to smash by this new all-time high.
Right, smash by.
We're only like 22 points below the necessary 800 likes. So I know there's 1,300 people watching, and so we should have at least 800 likes. So we're gonna go to swanbitcoin.com/orange pill. And I'm gonna smash by
52,000.
I always worry
You're flying upside down, Plucky.
How many should I buy? 500 or 1,000? Look at all those hearts in there. Like, who's putting all those hearts? 500 or 1,000? What should I do, dudes?
500,000.
Okay. Well, because I smash by several times a day, I like to try to.
You like to get smashed?
I do. I'm actually totally smashed right now. You should have to do. Hold on, I'm going to turn on this music while we do the smash bite. Okay, everybody's saying 1,000. Okay. Okay.
Oh, we got to do like Pluckies in the camera.
Yeah. Okay. Here I go. Here I go. Here I go. Here I go. Smash, 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 smash. Oh, yeah. Buy now. Buy now. Buy now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got $52,137. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, baby.
I bought the.
Buy the top.
Well, we know for a fact, right?
Yeah.
That It's going higher. We know for a fact as well that MicroStrategy was going to do this convertible bond for $600 million.
Yeah, they got oversubscribed.
Oversubscribed by 50%. It's actually $900 million.
Yeah.
They're raising at almost 0% interest rate. Well, at 0%. And what they're doing is they're buying at Bitcoin. So, yeah. Oh my God. I think.
Oh, here it is.
What's going on? I think Max sees the Fed levitating over our house. What's going on with Max?
This is the reminiscence of a stock operator book.
Yeah. This is real. Oh my God, I'm looking at me and my hair is like freaking bouncy. I look deranged. Why are you people still watching us? Like, we look like maniacs.
I'm reading at notes that I wrote 40 years ago.
Oh my
in
God.
This book, as a young stockbroker. Boy. Interesting reveal of one's mind from those days. The notes in the book are from me from 40 years ago.
Wow.
Or yeah, let's see.
Let's see if people are disturbed. Let's see what their comments are. Love your hair. We are maniacs. They are. To Max find a paper wallet in the book. That would be so scary. What if you were remember when I told the story of taking that Delta H THC and going crazy and losing my mind?
Yeah.
What if you found in there that's a book you haven't opened in 40 years?
Yeah.
What if you found the code for Bitcoin? And you were like, what the fuck? When I was on PCP, you talked about taking angel dust.
Yeah. Angel dust. Yeah, that's really.
That would be like the movie Pi. Would you be freaked out? Would you be thinking, "Oh my God, I feel sick"?
Movie Pi is underrated for sure. I don't know. People know that movie. It's pretty wild. It's Darren Aronofsky made this film. He's a director. One of his first films. It's about a guy who basically goes crazy trying to solve the riddle of Wall Street, the mathematical riddle. He ends up at the end, the last scene, I believe he takes a power drill and forces it into his brain.
Yeah.
And it's pretty gruesome.
That's basically the story of Bitcoin, right?
It is, but Bitcoin solves that. Bitcoin solves that problem.
Yeah,
to
but
the guy who just put a power drill in his brain.
Not Bitcoin itself, but Bitcoiners. Everybody gets Bitcoin derangement syndrome eventually.
Right, you can't fight it. I mean, that's one of like Peter Schiff. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear someday he took a power drill to his head, trying to exorcise the devil of fiat money. Same thing with Rubini. Same thing with Paul Krugman. They're going to all end up in the same way as the guy ended up in the last few scenes of that movie Pi. I can see it. I've seen it myself. That's why I don't fuck with Bitcoin. I don't fuck with Satoshi. I let it just channel through me. I'm not going to be fighting Satoshi. I just let it go. Let go and let Satoshi. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. You're going to end up Rubiniized. You're going to end up Schiffer brains. You're going to end up Paul Krugman. Fiat money is backed by men with guns. What a sadistic little, coprophagous cunt Paul Krugman
don't
is.
say the C word on YouTube.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. I meant to say see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. It's just, YouTube is part of the Rachel Maddow sort of, SJW world. And you can't say a lot of words. Because Max and I spent so long in the United Kingdom, we speak like British people sometimes.
Or French people.
They all say C word a lot, which you're not allowed to say in America. You could say all the male genitalia parts, but saying the female parts, it's considered.
The C word in France is like saying damn or darn.
Well, I mean, read Chaucer, right? This is in the 1400 period, and they're talking see this, see that, and they're dropping it all over the place. But nowadays, we find women disgusting, and you can't use any words referring to their genitalia, but you can say dick, you can say all that sort of stuff, balls, you can say that, but you can't say the female parts because it's considered somehow beyond what, I don't know. It seems unfair to me. Why not? Why can't you say vagina and things like that?
Well, vagina is not a problem. You can say vagina.
Well, I don't want. Okay. I don't want to say it anymore because I don't want to get blocked. That's the thing about YouTube. You can say dick all you want. So say dick where you think vagina. so we don't have to say the V word.
Okay. So when I think of vagina, I should say dick.
Yes.
Okay, that makes
Because
sense.
that's safe to say. And
No wonder you have people in there.
people are confused in the
Confused.
comments. They're like, I
No
thought we
wonder
were
people
buying
are
Bitcoin.
confused out
And
there.
now we're talking about Shift for Brains.
So SCHIFF for brains leads to replacing the V word,
People are saying say coconut for the C word.
coconut.
Coconut. Coconut. I like my coconut.
Well, there are, yeah, I mean,
Put the lime in the coconut. Stir it all up. Put the lime in the coconut.
yeah, well, there's always names of bands, are always making these sexual references in a
Well,
subtle
artists for thousands of years have. So it's like
Right.
it's not even it's part of the thing.
way. Right.
I went my dad died when I was very young, but he used to sing that song to me. That's one of the few memories I have of him. Is he would sing the song from the 70s,
Yeah.
early 70s. Put the lime in the coconut. And every time it came on the radio, he'd go, Stacy, look, put the lime in the coconut. And so I would tell for my whole life, like, because I had vague memories, right? And I would say, do you ever hear the song, Put the Lime in the Coconut? And people would be like, look at me. I mean, these were pre-internet days, right?
Yeah, right.
And people would look at me like, no, what the hell are you talking about?
No.
And then Reservoir Dogs came out.
Yeah, Reservoir Dogs.
And I swear, I was like, watched it, and then I was ready to leave, and in the end credits, they go, boom, 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 put the lime in the coconut. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was in my early 20s then, mid-20s, and I was like, oh my God, this is the song. This is the song. And I'm in the theater, like, shouting at people, this is the song. And
this is like, it. This is the one.
And, everybody's used to somebody crazy in the movie theater, right? Shouting. Yeah.
Sure. But I think the Steely Dan, I believe, is a reference to some genitalia.
Okay.
I think
we moved beyond that.
Pearl Jam. That's certainly
we're Put the Lime in the Coconut. Reservoir Bogs. 52,300. So I'm already up.
It's right. Yeah, you already made money in the last
already up, man.
5 minutes. You've already up in like more than Peter Schiff has made in 10 years on his fund. And this, you can look it up. It's down for 10 years. Stacy just made more in 10 minutes than Peter Schiff has made in his fund in 10 years.
So somebody is asking in the comments, and I can't believe this. They're saying, Max, who is that on your shirt?
Yeah, who is this handsome devil?
Well, it's a fair question because not many people would be so vain as to wear.
I'm going to get that jacket. I'll show people.
Okay. So the photo is a photo of Max. So he's walking around town with an image of himself on himself. And that is the truth. And he's going, for some reason, he has a desire to show you the jacket as well to go with the shirt. You need the UASF hat too.
Oh, sorry.
See,
you're right.
Especially as we're hitting new all-time highs. Tacos. I like tacos. Hey, we're okay. Finally.
That's from Reservoir Dogs too. Remember after they rob a bank or whatever, the guy says, "Hey, let's go get some tacos."
Let's go get some tacos. I guess that's what they're talking about. So Max.
Yeah, that's a great quote. So this is the shirt and hat. Oh, and I wore these glasses too.
Orange?
No, I wore
the yellow
ones.
Okay.
So
wow.
I'm creating the photo that's on my shirt.
They're saying you're a fractal.
Yeah, this is a fractal of myself. But it's also the text on the shirt says "Have fun staying poor." This is one of the memes I throw at people when they say stupid things on Twitter. Like, you should respect Peter Schiff. And I send him a meme that says, "Have fun staying poor." That's what I do. And that's what it's all about.
I just wanted to show everybody my butt.
Well, don't think that was lost on me either.
Okay.
I got a good view.
Jeez, my hair goes crazier and crazier. Sweet jacket leopard. All right.
It's tweed and leopard. Fake leopard.
Tweed and leopard.
Tweed and fake leopard.
And that was, speaking of punk rock, oh, I guess you weren't in on that conversation. Max and I were talking about punk rock. So
Oh, you're right. I thought you meant me. Like I wasn't in on the conversation. It was one you were having with them.
no,
Oh, you mean
no.
they weren't in the
You and
conversation
I
with us?
earlier today were talking about punk rock,
Oh,
but
yeah, of
of
course.
course, this was handmade by Joe Corey, who is the son of Malcolm McLaren and Vivian Westwood.
Yeah.
So
He's got a line.
that's punk rock in your head, right? Right there.
It's very punk rock, yeah.
Yeah, so Max is punk rock. UASF, user activated soft fork, is punk rock as
It's
fuck.
totally punk. Samson Mao.
Yeah.
He gave me this personally, Samson Mao. It's autographed by Samson Mao.
I like the story that Jameson Lopp told where he wore one of those hats into the shop.
Yeah.
And that's when he was living in North Carolina, and North Carolina is a big military state. We have the biggest army base in the world, actually, a military base in the world here, Fort Bragg. We also have Camp Lejeune, the Marine base,
where my sister was born.
Yep. And but see, he walked in with the UASF hat, and they said thank you for your service when he was leaving, and he felt he didn't want to say anything. He didn't accept.
No, it's user activated soft work. What?
He didn't accept their gratitude too, because he felt guilty. He felt guilty accepting their gratitude for his.
Yeah.
But he felt like it was service, because the user activated soft fork is a service to the world, including America. It was a service. It was an amazing service.
True.
We should all thank anybody who was part of the user activated soft fork, including especially the number one was the one Vortex, and he's no longer in
the Vortex. I don't get it, man. He kind of dropped out.
He dropped out. So is everybody feeling good about smash buying with me? And we're already up. I think we drove the price up because we're front running Michael Saylor. Front run that whale. You gotta front run that whale.
Yeah, front run Michael Saylor for sure, and everyone who's coming in behind Michael Saylor. So I think
including Peter Schiff.
Yeah, the Wall Street Journal said something like they don't anticipate more than 5% of corporate CEOs buying Bitcoin this year, as if that's a bad thing. 5% of corporate America buying Bitcoin is a huge thing. And of course, that's just the beginning, right? Because once you start buying Bitcoin, you end up buying more Bitcoin and bringing more people into Bitcoin. So, there's going to be 50% of corporate America is going to be buying Bitcoin soon. You can have some sovereign wealth funds buying Bitcoin, nation states buying Bitcoin. Nigeria is proving you cannot enforce a ban on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to overrun the state of Nigeria. Nigeria as a nation state finished. India, nation state is finished. People are going to overrun any attempt by India to ban Bitcoin. Any country that attempts to ban Bitcoin is going to find you cannot enforce a ban against Bitcoin.
You can't enforce it because the people are going to flee to the Orange Pill Podcast Telegram group.
Yep.
And that's we offer you safe haven. Come here from wherever you are. We have people from Nigeria in our group. We have people from Ethiopia. We have people from India. We have people from Ecuador. We have people from Chile. We have people from Argentina. We have people from Cuba. We have people from Germany. We have people from Australia. We have people from all over America.
That sounds like a Johnny Cash song.
Oh my God.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
I kind of felt high. It was hard to say that. It made me stoned. But maybe that's why Johnny Cash did that. Because, he
likes to smoke meth.
He liked to go to different places in his mind. And when you try to say that in one thing, it kind of cuts off the oxygen to your brain. And if you survive, then you had a good rant. Right?
SCHIFF for brains. That's the problem. You don't want to cut off the oxygen to your brain too much because you end up like Peter Schiff, underperforming everybody,
delicate balance,
including 5-year-old children who are playing with blocks have a better performance.
That's what happened to Michael Hutchins. He tried to balance the cutting off the oxygen to his brain and miscalculated.
Oh, right? Same thing with Keith. The guy Keith who played
Keith Richards. Never.
Not Keith Richards. The guy who was in that show Kung Fu.
Are you going back to the 20th
70s?
centuries?
No, I know. I remember that show. David Carradine.
Oh, Keith Carradine.
Keith Carradine. He died of autoerotic suicide in Thailand, I believe.
Yeah.
So he cut off the oxygen to his brain.
Well, is it really suicide? They say autoerotic suicide, but
right.
Is it really? I think it's just miscalculating the oxygen needs. That's what I was saying. That almost happened to me live here on YouTube.
We almost had an autoerotic suicide incident right here.
Yeah, I don't think it's suicide. I think it's just like an artistic attempt that goes wrong.
It's like Nelson Rockefeller died in bed with his mistress. Does that mean he suicided himself? No, it just means he came so hard he blew his brains out.
Okay.
Am I right?
I don't know why we
Are we allowed to say that? I don't know.
No.
Hello, is anybody home? You can't say that either?
You can't say anything in
Really?
the world today.
Well, Nelson Rockefeller was an interesting fellow.
I don't know. Well, like, who is Nelson
engaged,
Rockefeller?
He was part of the Rockefeller family,
Well,
the dynasty of Rockefellers. He was at some point involved, I believe, in Chase Manhattan Bank. You know, it was the Rockefellers before it was bought by Jamie Dimon. And he had a political career, and he was he maybe governor of New York at some point, or he was pretty high up politically.
He was pretty high, for sure.
And he died in the saddle, as they say, euphemistically.
I have no idea. I had no idea about that. So let me see how many people. 1,400 people are watching it. 1,000 likes. Yeah, Yellow. I love Yellow. Like, he's one of my favorite people. And
Yellow cat, popping yellow cat.
Yeah. He is working with, like, oh my God, I feel so good. I feel ready to retire in a decade or two and hand off things to Jack Mahler's. Like, ICO offender in our group, Yellow in the top chat here. He's a meme warrior for Strike. So he's working for Jack Mahler's. So is RDBTC. So is the other one who his name isn't as easy, but he sent us the laser eye meme for us. But GRGZAG Zaj. How do I say his name? Yellow.
Jazz.
Gurjaz. Oh, maybe if I say it like with a posh British accent. Gurjaz. That's Preston Byrne.
Lord Gurjaz.
He lived in the UK for 10 years, and he mentioned that he doesn't like watching American actors play British actors because, and I said, they always do that posh accent. And the thing about it is, some people say it's like marbles in your mouth, but I'm like, it's actually like pushing poop through your teeth, like the gaps between your teeth. There's a sound like of pushing poop through your teeth, and I just don't like it.
Right. No, it's despicable. There's nothing worse than a British accent.
They have SCHIFF for brains.
It's SCHIFF for brains, and you're pushing SCHIFF through your teeth. And it's a British accent. And some of the words pronounced in Britain are intolerably obnoxious. Probably number one offender would be schedule.
Schedule.
Right. And whenever you hear somebody...
nobody says schedule.
Right.
And instead of ibuprofen, they say ibuprofen. It's like,
right.
Who says ibuprofen? Okay, it's not
aluminum.
It's not ibuprofen. It's not aluminium.
No.
We are the new Rome.
And it's not schedule.
It's not schedule.
I mean, that's called having a speech impediment.
No.
You can't say schedule. I'm going to check my schedule. It's like, are you having a stroke? It's pronounced schedule.
Oh, Sean Connery can say Sean Connery could say schedule. He was
He's Scottish. He's not English.
No, but he's Sean Connery. Like I worked for a company that made a film with him. I think I told this once before. And like all these people would send cash like for his autograph.
Yeah.
And so I would always, and like a photo of him.
Keep the money?
Yeah, I would keep the money, but I would send it back to them. I would like
Do you sign it?
Yeah, I would autograph it for them and send it back to them.
Nice.
Well, because I felt like it's my grandfather's birthday and he really loves you.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, like.
So you're a Sean Connery impersonator.
So I said, happy birthday, Sean Connery. And like.
All right.
They probably ended up selling it for like $500.
It's on eBay now for $500. Stacey Herbert's Sean Connery impression on an 8x10 glossy.
Well, I learned that from my friend who used to work at MGM. I think I said this story too. And he worked in the mailroom.
He taught you about forgery?
Yeah, because people would, this is MGM in the 90s, right? And people would send money to the Munchkins, especially all the time.
Right.
So they would send cash like, hi, I love the Wizard. Well, we started off with talking about the Wizard of Oz. Like, that was in another show we recorded.
Well, that was a couple of years ago.
Anyway, so they would send money to the Munchkins.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
As if they need it.
And like what are you gonna do, right? Like, so you take the money and we would go to lunch with it, but we would send them back the autograph or whatever. They wanted the Munchkin. I don't know why they sent money to the Munchkins. They were just like, hey, Munchkins, we love you. Here's
the Wicked Witch of the West was mean to the Munchkins. You know, they were a press group. So you figure send them a couple of bucks. You go down there and score some meth. You know, you take the edge off. Frickin' Munchkins, you know, tough times. But Sean Connery's Scottish, you know, so you can't really say he's got an English accent. And the thing you can say about the Scottish accent, though, is that it is incomprehensible. Nobody understands a word anyone from Scotland is saying. That's for true. It's definitely, it's right.
That's absolutely true because a lot of my family's from Edinburgh. My cousin Joseph, you met him. He's from Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And he moved to America when he was like 22, 23. And he watched Train Spotting.
Oh yeah.
When it came out, and he said he needed to read the subtitles because was like, it was so. He's like, "What the hell? Do I talk like that?" And I'm like,
"Yeah." I've been drinking this. It's like, what? What did you just say? You know what? Huh?
I mean, when I talk to my family on the phone in Scotland, it's easier in person because you kind of can read their lips in a way.
Well, it depends on how much spit lands on your face. You know,
true, and how much whiskey they've had. But I love the Scottish people. I think that
Glasgow is one of my favorite cities.
One of the best people in the world. But you know, they I remember like hoose. Like they always say, but you know, I was raised a lot when I was a little kid with my Scottish grandparents.
Yeah.
So in New York and Long Island, so I had all these freaking bizarre accents when we moved to Connecticut.
Oh yeah.
And all I remember, I don't know how I spoke, but I do remember when I moved to Connecticut when I was like 5 or 6 and go to school, everybody made fun of my accent. They would repeat everything I said. They would, I don't know. You had
a heavy Scottish accent.
I have no idea. They would like make fun of all the words I said. And I remember correcting myself. Like I remember, like I didn't know why, like who the hell are you? Who are you? Why are you making fun of my accent? Like I didn't know that I spoke weird. And they would just like correct my accent.
Well, those people in Connecticut are they're you know fuck them, you know, they're no good. They're all, you know, they're all deplorables.
They all have SCHIFF for brains.
They're SCHIFF for brains. That's where Peter Schiff lives in Connecticut.
But that's what I'm telling you. It all comes around. It's time to end the show.
All right.
Oh my God. There's so many people. Like there's incels, there's complainers, there's Karens.
SCHIFF for brains.
There's Yellow. He's always funny though. He's Yellow's amazing. Good. He has talent. Like if you don't have talent, why even speak? Like why sit there and speak to us like about issues that you have?
Really?
Like, oh, here's this guy. Let's talk about this Karen. What's his name? What's this incel? I know he has a micro penis. He's like, I love this episode, but you asked us to like it too much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, if you have a micro penis, don't bring it up with us. Like, leave it to your personal issues. Like, develop something else in your personality. You don't need to. Why do I see those huge, like, number of hearts go up there?
You know, the people's threshold of being annoyed is way too low. Because
are you talking about me?
No, I'm just a general population. Like somebody's saying, "Oh, the like is too much," right? I mean, our parents' generation faced like bullets on Normandy Beach fighting the Nazis. You know, and the children of these people, the grandchildren, are like, "Oh, you mentioned like too many times. It's like it's giving me conniptions, and I need to go to the hospital."
I need Rachel Maddow.
I need Rachel Maddow to give me an enema.
She doesn't ask me for anything but to support war.
She never asks me for anything, and she gives me an enema full of lies that I love. Because it cleanses out all the detritus of the shit diet
of all
that
the
I'm
SCHIFF for brains I
the SCHIFF for
ingested.
brains. It collects in my colon, and then Rachel Maddow gives me a lie enema of lies. A throne of lies is forced up my schwing by Rachel Maddow, and it makes me feel comfortable. So I shoot up more smack and watch more of this Rachel Maddow show in the hopes that Jesus will appear. When right behind me, bigger than Godzilla, is fucking Satoshi imploring you to not have fun staying poor. Join the happy billionaire class.
And join the Telegram group called t.me/orange pill. Any last words? Any last words? You know, we're leaving you now. We're leaving you now because of that incel. So
Yeah.
go beat up that incel.
Go tell that incel.
Go act like,
Go
Clockwork
watch Rachel.
Orange. Go juke his ass. Yeah.
Give him the
I'm
shoe.
gonna kick your ass.
Give him the shoe.
Kick your
Give
ass
him the
out of
shoe.
here.
Give him the shoe.
Get the hell out of here, kid. Get the hell out of here. Go. Go.
Out.
Go.
Out. Out.
Go.
Out. The devil.
Go.
The devil must leave. Out, devil, now. Out.